We want to welcome everyone to our July Board of Education meeting, and we've asked Dr. Gumby if he would open us in a word of prayer.
Let's pray. Our Father, we come now just thanking you for today, oh God. We thank you for all your many blessings, oh God, that you bestow upon us, God. And now, God, we ask that you be a part of this meeting, oh God. We ask you take full control. We pray for every board member, the superintendent, all the administrative staff, teachers, students for this upcoming year. And God, we just say, have your way in our lives and have your way in our school system. And that we give you all the glory and honor and praise. In your Son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dr. Gumby. Next, we go to our consent items. It consists of our agenda, the minutes of the June 14th meeting, and the rental of our facility. Any questions on them?
Rental of the facility. What is that going to be used for? The chamber? What are they going to use it for?
It's a little Mr. Pageant, basically a kid's.
Okay. Yeah.
I talked to them today, and since he actually has COVID, and their deadline is this Friday, they still want to go forward with it, but Monday it might get canceled if they don't have enough kids sign up, and if, according to how bad she has COVID.
Okay.
I sure wouldn't.
I just found that out at 5:30.
Okay. But it is a little miss.
Yes, sir, it's a
All right.
pageant.
Okay. Thank you.
So I see we have an asterisk by the custodial and the administrative. They also have a building rental fee too. Is that?
They do have the builder rental fee, the asterisk, because the custodian, we probably wouldn't have to have a custodian there on the practice nights,
Okay.
but they would have to have the custodian there on
The event night.
the event night. And they would have to have an administrator there all 3 nights.
Okay. They didn't have a total amount, so that's what it was.
I was trying to get that approved and making sure what they did or didn't need. And until y'all approve it, then they know if they're gonna have it. I don't even know technician wise what they're gonna need up for that.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Make a motion to approve them as presented.
All right, we have a motion to accept our consent items.
I'll say.
We have a second. Mr. Reese, all in favor? Unanimous. We have no public participation.
No, sir. No public
Okay.
participation.
So we're going to move on to our financials.
Hello. Okay, first up, we have the general fund. As you can tell, we have finished our fiscal year. So we're 100% of fiscal year complete. As you all know, we have not officially closed out of June. We still have more payables and accruals, but this gives you a pretty good idea of where we're going to land, if not better. So as you can see, we are at 100.05% of our 22 fiscal year budget. So looking pretty good with that. Going down to our expenditures, we are at 96.10%, so less than the 100. As a comparison point, I looked at last year's and we were around 95% at this time, so I think we're still in line at the end of the June 30th marking. Next up, cash and investments in the bank is 3.071 with a fund equity of 2.134. So looking pretty healthy, and like I said, we still have more accruals and receipts and APs, but this gives us a really good a good feel of where we'll be at end of June 30th when we finally close the books, and pretty healthy at 2.1. On to the next one. This just gives the fund balance of 2.134. Okay, moving on to our Splost collection proceeds. As you can see, we have gotten $89,270. This is once again the highest we've ever collected. So 950 for the fiscal year, which is over 120 better than last year and considerably greater than the year before. Moving on to the Splost summary. We have a balance in the Splost account of $372,867. And then in the bond, we have a balance of $595,956, leaving us with a total balance of $968 to pay off October and April. Once we pay off October, we are only halfway towards what we need to pay for April, down a little bit more, which is pretty good, which is great. Next up, we have capital projects. Not much has been going on with the concession stand, but we do have a remaining balance of $105,379 available. Okay, so I don't know if y'all noticed, but we did receive stuff this month for revenues. So I printed out this for y'all,
Thank you.
because our revenues wouldn't have been at 100% without this. Oop. Sorry, one for you, one for you. Okay, so as you can see, we're at 100.05%. We had about 938 come in monthly. Y'all can't see that, they can. Moving down to the estimated expenditures, this is just more of a breakout by function. And we're at 96.1, as I said, with 47,505.93 outstanding. Okay. Moving on to the special revenue funds. As you can see, both of these, the revenues and expenditures are pretty much in line at that 72%. There's potentially more receivables to receive, but once we receive those items, we automatically get those federal funds later on, either this month or in August. So you'll always see those kind of in line. So we hope to get those in July and August and have that more completed at around 100%. Next up, capital projects. Just our monthly was our interest. Year-to-date revenue is 100.11%, and then our expenditures are $25,940, leaving us with a fund balance of 105. And then last is our debt service, where we're at 120.70% of our budget. And we've already made all of our payments for the year and expenditures at 100%. And that's all I got.
Money looks good.
Any questions?
I have a question, it's not really financial, but it does pertain to concession stands. What's our update or status on those?
I don't know if he's totally done. I know that he's supposed to be coming back to do a final inspection type of thing, a walk through. And then once he's declaring it totally done, then we're bringing the band boosters over and walking them through.
But we'll be ready for this season.
That's definitely the plan, yes, sir.
One.
It's the expectation. One of the two, yeah.
One of them.
Right.
Okay. That's what, because the other money's still there.
Right.
Any other questions? Thank you. Students. Next is Head Start fencing.
We have been trying to get a bid for the 6-foot galvanized fencing that is designed to encompass the playground area for Head Start at the old campus. This is going to be paid by the $30,000 that Head Start had promised us, and I've talked to them, and they are encouraging us to get this done as soon as possible. I thought 3 bids were necessary because the first one that I got was $10,145.87 from Double D Maintenance. I did not want to surpass any of the requirements, even though we're not paying for it, so I went ahead and got 3 bids. I tried to get a 3rd bid from Augusta Fencing. They told me that they would meet me at the site 2 different times at 4 o'clock and did not show either time. They did apologize the first time. They didn't answer the phone the second time. Ended up getting a 3rd bid from Allen Austin. It is the lowest bid, and I recommend that we employ Allen Austin to put in the 6-foot galvanized fence at the old high school to encompass the playground for Head Start and to be paid for by Head Start.
And he will be able to do that right away, correct?
Yes, sir. He wanted to start the day after he gave me the bid, and I said, no, we need the board to approve it first. So I wanted the board approval because we're altering a campus, and then we would jump on it from there.
Any questions on it?
Couple questions. We decided to go with residential gauge wire.
Yes, sir.
How about a tension wire on the bottom? Is he gonna put a tension wire or a bar on there so it doesn't push out at the bottom for kids to go out?
If I remember correctly, that was part of it, but I can add that if we have to, because I do think that's necessary. Yes, sir.
All right. We probably need that, I think.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And this is just the area around the place there. That's
Just the
correct.
playground
Where
area,
they're
yes,
putting
sir.
them
So it'll actually come out of the front of the old high school
now. And walk right through.
just walk around the back so that they have an encompassed area to play in, so one of them doesn't wander off while the person's looking the other way, or a puppy dog wander in, possibly.
And you said that it will go around the foundation of the old ag building too, correct?
Yes, sir,
So you
because they
did-
wanted a riding area for their trikes, yes.
Any other questions?
While we're in that area, that old tennis court looks terrible. Y'all have anybody to clean it up, get the grass out of it?
We can do that.
I mean, it really looks bad.
Need to donate it, or get someone that's in the pickleball league and have them convert it to
Yeah.
pickleball courts.
Yeah.
That's
Then
not a
you'll
bad
get,
idea.
then you'll get some
We
ownership
use this
of
up
it.
here for our
So,
tennis courts, for the school tennis courts, so that's not a bad idea.
Well, we give it to the horticulture class.
Find someone that's in pickleball and let them take it over.
Do you know anybody in pickleball?
I know.
Okay. I was hoping you did.
I hear it.
My wife plays.
There we
They
go.
go to
guys.
Savannah Lakes too.
Plantation Point.
What?
They play at Plantation Point.
I
Plantation
think they can
Point?
get 2 because there's 2 courts out there, right?
Yes, sir.
So I think they can get 6. If you got 2 courts, I know one of the places I saw this summer, were 2 regular tennis courts, they had 6 pickleball courts.
Didn't know it was that small.
Not
Okay.
less running. All right, anything else? We need a motion? We need a motion.
I'll make a motion, we accept the bid from Allen Austin to put the fence in.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Reese, second by Mr. Massey. All in favor? Unanimous. Next on the agenda is the painting interior of elementary school cafeteria.
Okay, the interior of the elementary cafeteria is due to be painted. It probably should have been painted a year or 2 ago, but it's due to be painted. And as opposed to the multicolors that are in there, Ms. Goldman and Mrs. Light and Mrs. Arthur all got together and recommended that they use the light gray from the interior LC diamond that was installed in the elementary cafeteria. Now, this money will actually come from school food service funds, but again, you're altering a campus and it needs to come before the board. School and Office Supply Company was the company that supplied the LC Diamond. They also gave a price for painting. James Heath gave a price for painting, and Eddie Harper. James Heath is the gentleman that actually painted the hallways in the elementary school and did a very good job. He actually has the lowest bid here of $7,075. So I recommend that we employ James Heath to paint the interior of the elementary cafeteria with the same matching light gray that is in the LC diamond.
Any questions?
When will we,
You go ahead. I mean, we got enough time to paint.
that's what my question, are we doing this before we start, or what's the?
He wanted me to call him. In fact, I told him I will call you tomorrow morning and we'll start as soon as we can.
So we'll be good to go.
That's the plan.
That's just, it wasn't the weekend, that's why I was. Okay. Good.
Another question, why is the food service paying for the paint? Just out of curiosity.
Food service is paying for it because they want it painted on the interior to make their cafeteria look nice.
So I thought it was under maintenance budget. I didn't miss paint on the
No, sir.
wall.
It's cafeteria wanted to pay for it and they wanted to do it and they've got money they've got to spend to improve their facility. So
Okay.
they recommended painting it and they recommended paying for it.
Well, that's a good answer if that's what it is. I
That's
mean,
truly the answer. You want to call her? I'll tell you.
I mean, you remember we had this conversation about the excess because of the free lunches,
Yes.
and because of the government paying for all lunches for the last 2 years.
I mean, I guess I'm wondering, is there anything else we could
Well, they've replaced a number of items in their kitchens
Okay.
and upgraded them, including their ovens just got worked on as well.
Okay.
So they've tried to improve their facility and use their money so they don't get dinged for having too much money in their account. So I think they're doing real good.
That they are. Too much money.
It's a weird thing for a school to say.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't understand it somehow. I didn't.
No
Thank you.
problem. I apologize, it wasn't written right.
No, it's written right.
Any other questions? All right. I make a motion that we go with James, the superintendent's recommendation of James Heath.
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Barksdale. All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Next is HVAC proposals for the high school.
Okay, you remember we've been talking about this for a while, trying to get new HVAC units in the middle high school building, or on top of the middle high school building, and we concentrated on the very large items first. As you read flip over to the second document for me if you would, Dr. Gumby. As you read that second document, you notice that there's additives of Alt 1, Alt 2, Alt 3, etc., and they're all different HVAC units. The reason all of those are there was when it was originally picked out, the bid belief or guesstimate was lower, and we were hoping we would have additional dollars left over in our federal budget so that we could pick up 1, 2, 3, all the way out to 6 additives if we had enough money. That's the reason for all of those, and I sure didn't want to confuse the board, but by the time all of this got put together, that amount was definitely higher than we had anticipated. So what we're looking at is a recommendation for the lowest bidder. It has gone through, and I sent it all to the board, and I apologize that it was 382 pages was the original document for the board to be able to review. Now, Mr. Heitman, you have a much higher knowledge on HVAC than I. It probably was easy reading for you. I read it, but it didn't mean as much to me as it probably did to you. So I asked Mr. Buckley to join us in case we have a question that we don't know. Mr. Buckley is our architect. He's the one that signs off on it. It is using Davis-Bacon Act for the labor because it is all through ESSER funds. So we have gone through and followed all of the federal requirements to be able to use this, and I am recommending Coleman Mechanical, which is a company out of Harlem. They are fairly local, and hopefully they can get started on this very soon. I'm going to allow you to jump in and add whatever is necessary for you to say before a question.
I'm fine. I mean, since the ESSER funds have been coming out, we would do an HVAC job that would be, let's say it's $800,000 with the ESSER funds and with the
supply chain issues, that $800,000 a year ago might be 1.6 now. And that's, the way we kind of look at it, we see is about 40% is labor, 60% is equipment, generally speaking, for new construction. And in this instance, that 40% labor is virtually twice the cost because of the paying the HVAC to Davis-Bacon rates. So it is, the labor is double what it used to be. And then, of course, everybody knows about the inflation. Just the pure out equipment is going crazy. So it's really not unexpected at this time. So
do we have an anticipated install date?
when we have pre-bid conference, we require mandatory pre-bid conferences. If we ask them to fill in the date or give them a date by which it will be installed, they say, well, we can't promise anything right now for supply chain. So we have to say, basically, you give me the time that you can install it once the equipment arrives. So that would be comparative to what we would normally see in this kind of thing. So, I see on the calendar days, like Hvac put 365. I'm not sure why the others are X'd out.
It wasn't in there. They didn't give a date.
Yeah, and that's why. In
Yes,
fact,
sir.
that's what I tell folks at pre-bid, because if they say, if you give me the date by which I've got a bid, I can't, I'm not even going to turn in a bid. This is the last time you're going to see me at this project. So that's what our intention is, that when the equipment comes in much quicker. For example, a wall-mounted heat pump on a classroom that sits on the outside of your buildings, those are, used to be, those are on the shelf. They're now 7 or 8 months out. I saw some the other day that are 9 months out. Rooftop units, depends on house size, they're from 4 months out, which is the way it's always used to be, but up till 8, 9 months. So really the answer is nobody knows. You call a manufacturer and you have made some business and where you have to call somebody and you ask when will it be there, they really can't tell you. They said, well, the plant says it'll be this, but when that date gets there, they're going to update it and push it back. So it's a crazy world we all live in this business. So this is when the equipment comes in. Most contractors, HVAC contractors, when they get a majority of a certain size, they'll go ahead and install all of those, even if some of the others aren't there. But we haven't spoken with these folks to confirm what kind of schedule once that equipment comes in. So.
Any other questions?
I guess this will be the latest and greatest air conditioning units.
It should be. I know our engineer, Caprice Baumert with Delta, met with Pat Laird, and Pat was a pretty smart fella. And so this was all the stuff that he had put in place for us to do and to move forward, and that, going through units that need to be replaced. So the answer is it should be, yes, sir. It's not the most highest efficiency because that price will go even higher, of course. But it's not the cheapest one. I can assure you that.
No matter the time frame, we still have time, because I know we're supposed to, as long as we get this money allocated and approved, it's good to go, right?
That's correct.
Being through this.
Especially because of the delay
So we're
to
good
the
with
supply
that.
chain.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Good question.
I feel good about Coleman Mechanical, and Grant, my son-in-law, he worked with Caprice, so, everything looks good to me as far as I can tell, so. Good and reputable people.
I was hoping you knew that.
Mr. Buckley's the only one I don't know.
Sir?
You're the only one I don't know. But I met you earlier. So, yeah, as long as we get it in, the price doesn't go up on us, I guess. We're gonna order it tomorrow and it's gonna be locked in, I guess.
I tell you what, I hope so. Every day I find a whole new story.
Yeah.
I mean, I reviewed some window shop drawings on a job, came in last Tuesday, I reviewed them, sent it out. On the next day, I had a progress meeting at the job site, and they said, oh, they're telling us the price is only good, the price is good until it's delivered. I said, wait, I've just turned it right around, approved it, and that should be it, but that's glass, they say. Same thing with roofing. I haven't had that problem, sir, come up with any HVAC yet, so.
I hadn't heard of that one.
Now that you say it.
It's very new, and I have yet to approve a cost increase for this, but I'm told it's coming.
Scary.
All right, anything else? All right, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
We have a motion by Mr. Hyden to approve it,
Second.
second by Mr. Massey. This is the recommendation of the superintendent, Coleman Mechanical. All in favor? Unanimous? Next on your agenda is a non-resident enrollment. If you would, please just read it. You'll be the only ones to be able to see it.
This family may be known to some of you, but they have been talking about this for a little while. They do live in Washington and want to come to Lincoln County. And as you notice the names on there, you may know who they are, but the students have already, and the parents have met with the high school principal, and he has signed off, and I would recommend that we would approve it for them. And the idea is to get them in for the first day of school, which is why it's here at the last minute. It was actually signed today by the parent. I apologize for the late tardiness, but that's what happened.
Can we do these individually, or can we do them together?
We can do them together if it's the same vote.
What, do you know what grades they're going to be?
9th and 10th.
Wow. Sounds like it.
Yes. I make a motion, we accept these two students into our system.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
Thank you all.
Okay, we have quite a few new policies.
The new policies are part of the new laws that I think the board has been very aware of. I tried to send all this information out to share with you, and while I was at the Gale conference, we got even more updates. It's quite interesting how these policies have come about, but we have to approve them and use them and move forward. The first one that we'll talk about is the unstructured break time. Now, the unstructured break time is a little bit different on the very bottom. It gave us choices, or board options, it says. Obviously, if you select all four, then you'd be contradicting yourself, so you can't do that. This was known as the recess bill when it came through the legislation. It is requiring that you have scheduled recess for all students, kindergarten and grades 1 through 5 every day. Middle school is unstructured break time for students 6 through 8 at the discretion of the school principal. And we've gone over all of these with the principals, so it's not to confuse them. But the reason for the board options on the bottom is how the board interprets or wants to enforce this policy. Now, the asterisks on number 2 and number 4 are my recommendation for two reasons. Number one, if we have an IEP or a 504 that would restrict a recess time or would cause a recess time problem, we need to follow that IEP or 504. So I'm recommending that we add that as a board option. And then the fourth one, failure to fulfill classroom responsibility or to adhere to academic requirements may result in a loss of a break time. Now, that's based on getting your academics first and then going to recess. Now, our teachers don't keep them from recess the entire year or an entire month or anything like that. It's part of just a caveat to be able to get them to complete their work and understand that academics is important. So those are my two recommendations. All of these new policies will lay on the table for 30 days. If the board wants to change those board options, then now's the time, or we could just discuss it, however you would like to do that.
Basically, on this one, unless we tell you different, just the two with these asterisks would be in the actual policy.
That's correct, sir. The other two would drop off, yes. You wouldn't see those at all. And board options would go away as well.
Makes a lot of sense.
Okay, we'll move on to the next.
All righty. The next one is divisive concepts, complaint resolution. This one we have heard of on the news quite a bit. The most important part about this one is the definitions. But as we get to try to explain to all of the teachers, and hopefully moms and dads will understand, the biggest importance is when we are teaching the different facts, any employee of the school system cannot intentionally encourage or attempting to persuade or indoctrinate a student, a community, or other school personnel to agree with or advocate for such individuals' personal beliefs concerning divisive concepts. In other words, if you're teaching U.S. history and you're talking about politics, you can't stand in front of your class and tell that class you have to vote for Dr. Gumby for governor because Dr. Gumby's the best candidate. That's your personal belief. You can give them the facts, but you cannot tell them who to vote for or tell them this is what I believe. And as we're going to train the teachers as we get back into pre-planning in school, as an example that I'm sure will happen, a student would ask, well, what do you think about this? What is your belief on this? My belief, the correct answer is, my belief is not important. The facts are X, Y, Z. So that we're not, as a school system, as a teacher, as a school community, forcing our beliefs, our personal beliefs, on that student. That's divisive concepts resolution process. Now there's a whole bunch, and I know everybody read it, but there's a whole bunch of different time frames. Each one of these are a little bit different, so I'm creating what I'm calling a cheat sheet that I'm going to laminate for all the principals. So if a principal receives a written complaint, which is how divisive concepts has to start, within 10 days of the complaint, unless another schedule is mutually agreed upon, they have to begin and start the evaluation process and did it really happen and so on. And it's a 4-page policy, but I want that cheat sheet on every principal's desk so that as they get it, they don't have to go back and find the policy and dig through it. It's right in front of them. And we're going to attack this as a district if it happens because we want to make sure the district is doing the whole thing right, not just one school being different than the other. So again, a new law creating a new policy. Any questions on that one? Okay. Materials harmful to minors. This one is very much deep in the definition, and the definition provides how it will take effect. Harmful to minors, as used in this policy, means that quality of description or representation in whatever form of nudity, sexual content, sexual excitement, or sadomasochistic abuse, when it, taken as a whole, predominantly appeals to the prudent, shameful, or morbid interest of minors, is patently offensive to prevailing standards in the adult community as a whole with respect to what is suitable materials for minors, and is, when taken as a whole, lacking in serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value for minors. The big piece that Corey continued to stress when he did his presentation on Wednesday morning at Gale was taken as a whole. You cannot take a paragraph out of a book and say that this paragraph represents the whole book. It's taken as a whole is the way the law is written and the way the policy is written. Taken as a whole is the importance here. So as we go through this and as a book may be identified, that's how we have to look at it. Does it meet this definition? If it does not, then it doesn't fall under this policy. So Corey went through this with all of us. We'll go through it with the teachers and try and help them understand it. But again, all of this come from Harbin and Hartley and from GSBA. This one has got business days mentioned. The prior one, Divisive Concepts, has got school days mentioned, which is why I want to have the cheat sheets for the principals so they don't have to just look it up. It's right in front of them, and bam, when it happens, they can go straight to it. But it goes all the way out to the state board as a possible appeal. So it's quite in depth. The next one is Parents' Bill of Rights. Parents' Bill of Rights has the policy and then, of course, the procedure to go along with it. This is something that, as a district, we do anyway. We take pride in identifying things and helping our parents with understanding. And this very specifically states in this policy that the parents have to request the opportunity within 2 weeks to review the local materials. Now, the local materials, locally approved instructional materials and content, which constitute the principal source of study for the state-funded course, not including supplementary or ancillary material, which is adopted by the local Board of Ed or used by the local school system. So supplementary doesn't count. Only the principal source of study. That's one piece that a lot of folks don't read into this. And again, the other part is within the first 2 weeks. Now, our principals, if a parent came to them with questions about content, would share it with them in the 5th week and the 7th week. It doesn't matter because we take care of our parents and we take care of our kids. But this does specifically say 2 weeks. I wanted to point that out to everybody, but as we talked about Monday, we're going to take care of our kids and our folks. But all of this is in there. Those are the new ones anyway. We have other policies for review. IDDD, Education Program for Gifted Students. IDDF, Child Find Procedures. IDDG, Language Assistance Program for English Language Learners. IDDN, Work-Based Learning Programs. IFBA, Internet Safety. IHD for Honor Roll. And JGFB, Supervision of Students for Heat Index, which is that heat bulb. All of those are appropriate as written and will remain where they are. The next one down is policies for revision. Curriculum development, there was a small change in curriculum development to represent what we do in the district. Instead of curriculum director, it's director of teaching and learning. So both of those have been corrected. And down in that bottom paragraph, we no longer use the Georgia Standards of Excellence. We now use state standards. So we had to make that change to bring them up to date. The next one is comprehensive health and physical education. There's a couple of minor changes in this one. We had to eliminate on page 2, beginning with 2011-2012 school year, and each local school shall conduct as opposed to system. And then the next paragraph down is beginning in 2013-14 school year, capitalize E, and then add at the very bottom, each local Board of Education which operates a school with grades 6 through 12 shall provide instruction in human trafficking awareness on an annual basis at each grade level. I went to a meeting on the 17th of June with over in McDuffie for all of our local, the DA was there and the local law enforcement from all the surrounding areas. And they told us that Augusta has got higher numbers in human trafficking than Atlanta does now. I did not realize that. That's quite scary, but people seem to be more afraid or more aware in Atlanta, and they relax more in Augusta, so they're easier targets, is the way it was explained to us. That's very, very scary. We have one policy for deletion, which is school bus drivers. I talked to Marvine from Harbin and Hartley. School bus drivers policy is no longer necessary and has been eliminated in school districts. And all you have to do now is just follow and maintain the law, and that will meet this requirement. So the law supersedes this, so there's no reason to have it in there. So she recommended removing it.
About the last one, about the buses.
Yes, sir.
Got a couple of bus questions.
Okay.
Are all the buses in route service now got air conditioning? Do they? I think we're supposed to have that done by the start of this year.
I think so. I don't want to fib, but I think so.
Did we receive our last bus?
Yes, sir. It's here. They're having an issue with the connection. The EPA, we found out after the bus got here, has gone to a quick connect requirement as opposed to a screw in. Like if you go to get your grill tank replaced down at Clyde's Crossing, they've got that screw in off of that big tank. That's what we have for the buses right now. Well, the EPA just passed a law that says it has to be quick connect and no longer the screw in type. So I found that out yesterday, and so did Fred, so now we have to update that. So currently, we can't fill that new bus because we don't have a quick connect coupler on the end of our propane. So Bluebird is sending someone up here to take care of that for us. But, so that one right now is not in service because we can't put any fuel in. But we have it on camp. Yes, they're supposed to be here the next day or two. I'm just trying to let you know what's going on, so.
Well, the bus drivers will let me know what's going on too.
Yes, sir.
They do. And they care about their kids, so.
I understand.
And
We do too.
Another question, do we have opportunity to get rid of all of our diesel buses? How many we got left?
I want to say 9, but I'm not positive. But a lot of them are not in service, obviously. Some of them are, but a lot of them are not in service. We're going to straight propane. But the diesel buses, the state is talking about making a deal, and we haven't seen any solid recommendations yet, but making a deal of giving us a dollar amount, like $30,000 for a diesel bus, if we'll give that back to them and we do propane, which we're already doing propane. So instead of selling them for minimal nothing, we would be much better off to go that route. So as soon as I get that in writing from someone at the state that can support that number, we're going to be getting rid of diesel buses. But we got to have something to replace them with so that we're not running around.
So you're thinking every diesel we turn in, they'll give us a...
That's what they're telling us, but I've been told things that didn't come true. So until I get that in writing that tells me I'll receive that check, I don't want to do that yet. But yes, sir, that's what they're telling us. They're trying to get diesel buses off the road.
That'd be great.
That would be, yes.
With air conditioning in.
Well, yeah, that's the only way we order them now.
Okay, we have a few superintendent reports.
Okay, the old campus mental health counseling is continuing to move forward. We have positive news from Reverend Knapp that he got approval. He got to move forward, and he is planning on this starting again September 15th, which is great news. We're really excited about that for our community, and I'm looking forward to that opportunity for everyone that needs it. We have an update on dates for the board as we get close to starting school. Everybody knows that school starts on everybody knows that school starts on the 2nd of August. I'm sorry, the 3rd of August. The 3rd of August. Open house is the 1st of August from 4 to 7 at both schools at the same time. Open house is August 1st, Monday, 4 to 7. On the 26th, which is Tuesday, the 26th from 8 to 11, the district back to school meeting begins an open school. That night at 6:30 is 6th grade orientation at the auditorium. We have in this room tomorrow morning, new teacher orientation is July 20th and the 21st. And Thursday night, the 21st, is ninth grade orientation at 6 o'clock in the auditorium as well. So all of that gets started very, very fast. And we have principals with popsicles that happens tomorrow night at 6 o'clock for kindergarten through 5th with last names of A through G, and at 7 o'clock kindergarten through 5th with last names H through O. And then Thursday the 21st at 6 o'clock is pre-K students with older elementary siblings, and at 7 is kindergarten through 5th grade with last names of P through Z. So you're going to be eating a lot of popsicles the next 2 days.
And I'm sorry, the phone is ringing because Ms. Dunn sent out an all call and it comes from this number. So they're all calling the office back and Ms. Lynn had to run out to try to silence the phone.
Okay.
So, note to self, no all calls on board meeting nights.
And sixth grade orientation's at 6.
I'm sorry?
6.
Which is 6?
6th grade.
Oh, 6th grade. Yes, 6th grade orientation. There's also a ninth grade
On the
orientation.
websites, I mean.
They have-
Yes, they are on the
There's a
website.
lot of stuff.
Yes.
Yes, it is on the
Keep Google
website.
calendars.
Okay.
I just try and add to it, trying to say it one more time so everybody can hear it. Okay, we have some, in front of you is some AP scores that I just got today at 3:48 from our principal at the high school. We have AP two-dimensional art. We had 2 students take the AP test. One got a 3 and one got a 4, which means they both passed. We have biology. 2 students took it. One got a 3, one got a 4. Both passed. That's awesome. AP calculus, 4 out of 5 passed. We had 1, 2, 1, 3, 2 4s and a 5, which is great. AP Lang, 3 out of 14 passed, which is not as high as it should be. AP Lit, 7 out of 10 passed. That's awesome. GAVSV, AP Human Geography, 1 out of 1. That was a 3. AP Psychology, did not have a student pass. 1 student took the test. AP Government, 1 student took the test and passed. AP Stats and AP Physics was not reported. Anything you want to add to that?
No, just did a good job and keep rolling. Our numbers in all of those AP classes are up this coming year too, so.
So that's a 1 through 5 school, is that right?
Yes, sir. It's 1 through 5. That's
And
correct.
most colleges are on 3, is that right?
You have to have a minimum of 3 at any college. Some colleges will take only 4s and 5s, and your Ivy League doesn't take them at all.
Georgia.
And Georgia Tech, sometimes, right?
That's correct.
Yes.
4s and 5s. Anything else?
That's what I have. I do have one more thing, if we can clarify for the public and school system and everything. On the cash gate,
Yes, sir.
we are gonna have a cash gate at our football games. I know that came out,
We had one last year. We had
but it
one
came
every-
out on, I understand that, but it came out on social media that we would only have debit or credit, which again stirred,
That was for, she had put that out wrong. And that wasn't for the games, that was for, that got put out for season tickets. But that's been changed since then and been updated. No, we'll take
so we're
cash.
taking cash, check, everything for
Yes,
everything.
sir.
Or not check, but we'll take
Well, we are taking check for season
for
tickets.
season tickets
But not pre-sale or,
at the
at the
gate.
gate.
That's gotta be cash or have it prepaid.
Or, yes, sir, or they can actually at the gate also, they can pay debit card at the gate.
Let me say one more thing on that. We had this musical over here and got kids turned away because they didn't have cash. They were told they had to have a card. Our community is not ready for that. I mean, I think we have talked about this till we're blue in the face. Cash is okay. We're not gonna punish somebody for paying cash. I mean, we wanna charge $10 for cash and $8.50 for a card. It should be the other way around. I mean, our community is not ready for that. And we have told Dr. Light, and the way this works, we're elected by this community. We are his boss. And what we tell him, I don't know if it's not getting to the principals, or mainly you, Dr. Walski, but we want cash at gates. We don't want to be turning people away because they don't have a card. You think I turn my kids loose at a ball game with my credit card? No, we do not want that. And we have said it, and like I said, I don't know if Dr. Light's not getting it to y'all, but we have told him, and we are his boss, and we do not want to see that pushed on somebody. And one more thing, the T-shirt scam. Has there been any investigating into that, and where we can find out who was doing the scamming?
It was not a scam,
It wasn't.
no.
That's the email we got.
It was a scam because of the way that it was presented to Mrs. Spurlock.
In that sense, yes. But, yes, that has been addressed.
So it wasn't a scam.
It was not a scam. It's a program that this company's been doing for over 20 years, but it was, when it came to me, I told Ms. Spurlock, check into it, let's see what it's about. This was in May. See what it's about, see what it would entail, and go from there. And next thing I know, we have this company getting a hold of businesses, asking for money for whatever. I never approved anything with that. I told her to check it out and see if we could relate it to PBIS. With that.
Did she approve it?
Yes, sir.
Without it coming before us?
Or
Didn't come before
or
me,
coming before him or me.
or him, or you.
And it was, the way she explained it is she filled the document out to get information. They picked it up and started calling businesses, which is why I called it a scam, because it was not presented to her correctly. And they got her name and started using it. So I called it a scam from there because it wasn't done or presented to her appropriately, nor to us. So that's why I called it a scam, because I think it is. And the amount of money they were asking businesses was ridiculous.
Mhm. But yes, it was never approved by me.
Can I say something? I think we do need to go back to what he's talking about the credit cards and debit cards. That is the future. When we talked to Dr. Light about this last year, we want to move in that direction, but this community is not ready to move there yet. So, we gotta work our way there. It's just like the country wants to move to electric vehicle, but you can't snap your fingers and go next week and everybody get electric vehicle because the country won't support it. So, we just want to work together in unison as one. We just want to make sure that there's super clarity on that. And moving to the T-shirt, I got called personally from the lady, and I was getting ready. I know someone else who actually had to cancel their credit card because they went in and paid for it. So we want to make sure all the channels are followed properly. We and I know mistakes are made, but we want to do things right way. Lincoln County.
Okay, we need a motion to go into executive session.
Make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Barton, second by Ms. Knight. Call the meeting back to order. Dr. Line is recommended, and I make a motion that we accept the retirement of Ms. Deborah Partridge, effective August 31st, 2022.
Second.
Second by Mr. Madison. All in favor? Unanimous. Dr. Light is recommended, and I make a motion that we accept the resignation of Ms. Charity Zellers, effective July 25th, 2022.
Second.
Second by Mr. Madison. All in favor? Unanimous. Mr. Light, Dr. Light is recommended, and I make a motion that we hire Ms. Tiffany Howard for the special education parapro position at the Lincoln County Middle School. And a second by Mr. Reese. All in favor? Unanimous. Dr. Light is recommended, and I make a motion that we accept the resignation of Mr. James Redding, effective July 8th, 2022.
Second.
Second by Mr. Madison, all in favor? Unanimous. Dr. Light is recommended. I make a motion, we accept the resignation of Mr. Glenn Bryant, effective July 1st, 2022. Second by Ms. Barksdale, all in favor? Unanimous. Dr. Light is recommended. I make a motion that we hire Mr. Floyd Turner as a full-time school bus driver for the 22-23 school year.
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Madison, all in favor? Unanimous. Dr. Light is recommended. I make a motion that we hire Ms. Deborah Johnson as a full-time school bus driver for the 22-23 school year.
Second.
Second by Mr. Reese, all in favor? Unanimous. Dr. Light is recommended. I make a motion that we hire Ms. Bess Robinson for the special education self-contained parapro position in the elementary school.
Second.
Second by Ms. Barksdale, all in favor? Unanimous. Dr. Light is recommended. I make a motion that we hire Ms. Jamie Martin as a substitute teacher for the 22-23 school year.
Second.
Second by Mr. Heitman, all in favor? Unanimous. Dr. Light is recommended. I make a motion that we hire Ms. Laura Hefner as a substitute teacher for the 22-23 school year.
Second.
Second by Mr. Madison, all in favor? Unanimous. Dr. Light is recommended. I make a motion that we hire Ms. Mary Dozier as a substitute teacher for the 22-23 school year.
Second.
Second by Mr. Heitman, all in favor? Unanimous. Dr. Light is recommended. I make a motion that we hire Ms. Belinda Thompson as the elementary school food service manager.
Second.
Second by Ms. Barksdale, all in favor? Unanimous. The records show that we have given Dr. Light his evaluation for the 21-22 school year. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Heitman and second by Mr. Madison. Thank you.